Council for April 23rd, 2019. The mayor is out. I am the presiding officer. Carla, can you please call the roll?
Fish.
Here.
Hardesty.
Here.
Fritz.
Here.
Wheeler. Udaly.
Here. Thank you. Before we begin, will our city attorney please read the rules of decorum, although I'm fairly certain everyone knows them.
Okay.
But this looks like a rowdy bunch, so.
Welcome to the Portland City Council. The City Council represents all Portlanders and meets to do the city's business. The presiding officer preserves order and decorum during City Council meetings so that everyone can feel welcome, comfortable, respected, and safe. To participate in council meetings, you may sign up in advance with the council clerk's office for communications to briefly speak about any subject. You may also sign up for public testimony on resolutions or first readings of ordinances. Your testimony should address the matter being considered at the time. If it does not, you may be ruled out of order. When testifying, please state your name for the record. Your address is not necessary. Please disclose if you are a lobbyist. If you are representing an organization, please identify it. Presiding officer determines the length of testimony. Individuals generally have 3 minutes to testify unless otherwise stated. When you have 30 seconds left, a yellow light goes on. When your time is done, a red light goes on. If you are in the audience and would like to show your support for something that is said, please feel free to do a thumbs up. If you want to express that you do not support something, please feel free to do a thumbs down. Please remain seated in council chambers unless entering or exiting. If you are filming the proceedings, please do not use bright lights or disrupt the meeting. Disruptive conduct, such as shouting or interrupting testimony or council deliberations, will not be allowed. If there are disruptions, a warning will be given that further disruption may result in the person being ejected for the remainder of the meeting. After being ejected, a person who fails to leave the meeting is subject to arrest for trespass. Thank you for helping your fellow Portlanders feel welcome, comfortable, respected, and safe.
Thank you. So today is a day of recognition and celebration. Hopefully this will be a fun council afternoon. Carla, will you please read the first item?
Item 363, proclaim April 24th to be Reverend Dr. James Lawson Jr. Day.
Commissioner Fish?
Thank you, Madam President. Colleagues, this afternoon, we are honored to welcome an esteemed guest to council chambers, Dr. James Lawson. Dr. Lawson was an architect of the civil rights movement, a dear friend and colleague of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a mentor to Representative John Lewis, and for over a half a century, a transformative leader in nonviolent resistance across our nation. Dr. Lawson is joined today by the Portland State University Conflict Resolution Program, and it is now my honor to invite our distinguished guests and panelists to come forward. First, Dr. Patricia Schechter. Where do I know that name? Director of the Conflict Resolution Program at Portland State University. Pastor J.W. Matt Hennessy, Senior Servant, Vancouver First Avenue Baptist Church, and immediate past chair, Ecumenical Ministries of Oregon. Carolyn Johnson Evans, a student in Conflict Resolutions Program and a member of SUN, Students United for Nonviolence. And our guest of honor, the Reverend Dr. James Lawson. If the four of you would please come forward and take your seats. While you're taking your seats, let me just say that we're having some technical snafus today, but it does not prevent this event from being filmed and also for people to be able to follow us on the internet. And it will be, when it is run in its entirety, it'll be accessible to the community. Our run of show is as follows. We will hear from our distinguished panelists. Colleagues will have an opportunity to make comments, and then we will ask our honored guests if they would indulge us for a photograph. Dr. Schechter.
Thank you, Commissioner Fish and Portland City Council. Nick did such a wonderful job with the sort of bios that I don't need to repeat his eloquent and succinct intro, but I will just testify on a personal level to say that I have been privileged to feel welcome and at ease in this beautiful building and in this beautiful room thanks to Nick's service and thanks to the warmth and genuine quality of the people who work here every day at City Hall. But I have to say that it is a signal honor of my lifetime to have this moment with Reverend Lawson and the distinguished co-panelists. And I want to acknowledge and express my gratitude to the very many people who have sustained me and my family personally and have helped us all to reach this place in time together. Each of the panelists is prepared to say a few words in recognition of today's proclamation, and I would like to turn the mic over to Carolyn Johnson-Evans.
Thank you, Dr. Schechter. Good afternoon. My name is Carolyn Johnson-Evans. This is my first visit to City Hall, so I thank you all for the opportunity to speak with y'all today. As mentioned, I'm a student in the conflict resolution program at PSU, and I am also a leader in SUN, which is Students United for Nonviolence. So SUN is on a mission to unite PSU students and the Portland community in a common interest for peace and justice by promoting the awareness and the practice of nonviolence through activities and events. And the really cool thing is anyone can participate in a nonviolent action. You don't have to register. You don't have to have a background check, and you don't even have to count the jelly beans in the jar. All you need is the willingness to embrace nonviolent action as an effective means of defeating oppression and injustice. We can do that right here in our local community and in our global community as well. I want to thank Dr. Lawson for all of your passion and dedication to continuing to promote, teach, and practice nonviolence. And I want to thank this council for honoring that passion and dedication. Thank you.
Thank you.
My next, sorry.
Pastor Hennessy,
Madam
thank you.
President, thank you so much. Madam President, to Commissioner Fritz and to Commissioner Hardesty, Commissioner Fish, to you, Doctor, we're so grateful to have you here. And I would like to just say on behalf of Vancouver Avenue First Baptist Church, it's an historic church and the only church in all of Oregon that Dr. King spoke in 1961. I was not born then, I was not around then, but I heard it was really a great time. I also want to say that we have the presence of our NAACP president here today as well, Pastor Mondane, and we're grateful to have him. And I just want to say a few words about what you have inspired historically for all of us. We are grateful. In addition to the work I do at church and in the interfaith work that I do at Ecumenical Ministries, we're in the process of working with gang members to really find jobs and to create peace and to find ways to work together. We have a good group of interfaith peace and action collaborative people who are working together across faith lines and in fact people who have no faith as well, but just really believe in peace and believe in reconciliation. And so I find it a complete honor to be here today in your presence with my fellow panelists and with these wonderful council members. And I want you to know that of all the cities you've ever gone to, Doc, this is the best one ever, and it's the best city council ever. I need you to know that. And the only way you were going to go to heaven is through Portland anyway, and so we're really grateful to have you here. So again, I want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for your many years of work. Your footprint has helped so many of us in this work of reconciliation and uniting people. And in a time that we live now, we need it more than ever. And I just want to say thank you for that opportunity. And I wanted to be here this afternoon at 6 to hear you. And unfortunately, I haven't figured out how to be in two places at once. Right. This is the Ecumenical Ministries annual fundraising dinner. And therefore, I've got to be there, but I promise you, if I can get out, I'm going to get out. Okay, was that my outside voice? I'm sorry about that. Thank you so much again. I'm grateful to be here. And besides that, he's from Ohio. And, you know, people from Ohio are pretty great people anyway. That's right. He graduated from Baldwin Wallace, and I graduated from Oberlin.
Yeah, that's right.
Eddie, could you move that a little closer to him?
Okay. It's on. Madam President and members of the council and commissioners, and friends who have gathered here today, let me just express my profound appreciation for this occasion and for your welcoming me in this fashion. A lot of my work in the southeastern part of the country from 1958 to 1974, I would never have allowed the city commission to know I was in town.
Right.
And even with that, there are pieces of that past that were the police were alerted to the fact that I was in town and urged to give me a royal welcome if they saw me or came in touch with me anyway. But so this is a massive contrast, and I'm extremely grateful. I'm grateful that Portland State is hosting the James Lawson Institute, and I'm grateful for all of these who are here in the House who've helped to make that possible this weekend. So I can only say to you thanks. I do follow a little the politics in Oregon. I have been here before, to Portland, to Eugene, to Corvallis, and I am extremely hopeful that Oregon politics might help to lead politics in the United States in a better direction than where we've been going in recent years. So again, it's my great pleasure to be here, and thank you so much for this honor and for welcoming me in this fashion. I recognize that the message of nonviolent struggle, nonviolent art of social, political, economic change is brand new. I was very, very fortunate to grow up in a family in Ohio where my father and mother had differences on this issue, and I remember still the debates between the two of them in our presence over whether or not I should be fighting boys who wanted to fight me because I was the preacher's kid on the block. And but that has been great influence on me for my discovery that in the scriptures, the Hebrew and the Christian Bibles, and in particular people like Isaiah and Jesus, there are the signs that there are better options for the human race, better options for civilization, better options for police forces. And so I've been fortunate to be engaged in that for now since age 4 and age 8, and I'm now 90. And it's been an extraordinary sort of journey. But yet I recognize it's an incomplete journey because it is clear, as both Gandhi, who coined the term nonviolence, and Martin Luther King, my friend and colleague for 11 years, both of them have said the systems of domination and control of societies, those systems are anti-human. They must fade away. They must be dismantled. The power of violence on Western civilization especially must end so that we, the human race, can maybe then really taste the fruits of what it is to be alive and to be human and to work with the Creator in our Declaration of Independence for making the human race tap some of the great, massive, unimaginable potential of what it is to be human. What an earth we'll have when we discover that, dismantle the old stuff that is hurtful and hateful to too many millions and millions of people, and discover the great power of life itself, through which we can do all things. So again, my great thanks to you for this afternoon.
Well, Dr. Lawson, thank you so much for joining us. And Pastor Hennessy, Patricia, and Carolyn, thank you for honoring us by your presence on the panel. We have a number of ways that we can honor people on this council, and a singular way is for the council through the mayor to issue a proclamation declaring a day in honor of someone worthy of honor and respect. So it's my great pleasure to turn this back over to Chloe Udaly, the president of the council, who has a proclamation to read.
Can we
Thank-
say something before the proclamation?
Thank you, Commissioner. Colleagues, would you like to speak? Commissioner Hardesty.
Thank you, Commissioner Fish and Udaly. I just wanted to take a moment to tell you, Dr. Lawson, how important nonviolent direct action has been to me personally and to the work that I've done in this community. I am a child of the civil rights movement and grew up starting off believing that Malcolm X had it right, that if you hit me, I'm gonna knock you out. It took a while for me to understand the power of nonviolent direct action and what a moral message that is for those who participate and also for those who witness it. And so I wanted to take this opportunity to really thank you for creating a pathway that many of us today start with that premise that it will be nonviolent, that it will be direct action, that we will be able to speak truth to power, but we will do it in a loving way, and we will not have to be disagreeable to disagree with injustice. I also would be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to my friend Tom Hastings, who has done an incredible job in centering nonviolence, whether it's with the peace team, whether it's with his work with his students. I would be remiss without saying, well done, Tom. And I got to tell you, he's been talking about you. Every time he goes somewhere and sees you, he just comes back and he's just giddy all over again. We are honored to have you here today.
Thank you.
And we're honored to have you here because you have been such a model for so many people. And on our worst days, we think, man, what it must have been like when you started this journey. And so thank you. Thank you. And thank you all for being here to witness this, what I believe is one of the best things we've done since I've had the privilege of serving on the city council. So thank you.
Commissioner Fritz.
Again, thank you all. It's been said. Dr. Lawson, my mother and my mother-in-law are both in their 90th year. And I think that they would, if they were in this chamber, say a double thank you for continuing to advocate when, for many folks, 90 might be time to do some gardening or something else. And yet you are continuing, as you have dedicated your life to this, to continue to push on it. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, colleagues, for your words, and thank you for giving me an opportunity to regain my composure, because I feel very moved by this. Before I read the proclamation, I also want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for sharing your experience and perspective. It can feel like change takes forever, and we're living in somewhat hopeless times. So hearing from someone who has spent almost 90 years fighting the good fight, that you see progress and you have hope is very, very meaningful. So thank you. And now I have the honor of reading the proclamation on behalf of the mayor. Whereas Reverend Dr. James Lawson Jr. was regarded as the greatest teacher of nonviolence in America by Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and the architect of the civil rights movement by Representative John Lewis, and whereas as a Christian missionary in India in the 1950s, Dr. Lawson learned about satyagraha. Did I get that right?
That's good enough.
Okay, thank you. A philosophy of nonviolent resistance and a method to fighting for social justice developed by Mahatma Gandhi. And whereas, while a student at the Divinity School of Vanderbilt University, he provided nonviolence training workshops informed by satyagraha to many students and activists, including future leaders of the civil rights movement, such as Diane Nash, James Bevel, and Representative John Lewis. And whereas his trainees launched the Nashville Sit-ins, a campaign of nonviolent direct action to end racial segregation at restaurant lunch counters, and whereas Dr. Lawson was among many transformative African-American leaders who helped to end legal racial segregation in the U.S., and whereas throughout this life, Dr. Lawson has continued to teach and lead in the principles of nonviolent social resistance and started the James Lawson Institute. And whereas in 2018, Dr. Lawson was nominated to receive the Congressional Gold Medal, one of the nation's highest honors. And whereas today we celebrate Dr. Lawson for his incredible career in civil and human rights and for his inspirational leadership in continuing to transform the United States, and we welcome him to the Portland City Council. Now, therefore, I, Commissioner Chloe Daly, on behalf of Ted Wheeler, Mayor of Portland, the City of Roses, do hereby proclaim April 24th, 2019 to be Reverend Dr. James Lawson Jr. Day in Portland and encourage all residents to observe this day. We're going to gather up front to take a photograph now.
Good to meet you.
We'll come back here and we'll.
Okay, all right.
Commissioner, do you have the proclamation?
And the almost correct proclamation.
Thank you, sir. Gender balance. Say the women are taking over. I know. Wait a second. All right, so let's get everybody. Okay.
All right, we're gonna look in here.
Pretend like you like each other.
Hey. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Smiles. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
By the way, let's a special shout out to Portland State University, the Conflict Resolution Program, and Asena Lawrence, who helped organize today. Let's give them a round of applause.
I'll see you later today. I'll be over at the.
Okay, sir.
I think we have to take a recess. We're going to take a 3-minute recess until the next time certain.
You know who you are.
Thank you, Commissioner.
You're welcome. I'm here for you.
All right, Carla, can you please read the next item?
Yes. Item 3664, proclaim April 2019 to be Second Chance Month.
Thank you. Colleagues, I had the pleasure of joining dozens of people at Southeast Works yesterday to celebrate Second Chance Month, and I'm going to share an abbreviated version of my remarks before reading this proclamation. Second Chance Month aims to raise awareness about how we as a society undermine the successful reintegration of justice-involved individuals into community, why we must do better, and how we can. It's about every human's right to dignity and their innate potential. Despite having paid their debt to society, people with criminal histories face barriers to education, jobs, housing, and, pardon me, and other things they need to lead stable and successful lives. The law and order mindset that informs many of our policies and practices is inflexible and unforgiving. It is also uninformed, as the very barriers we have erected to keep us safe are perpetuating harm and crime. The Justice Policy Institute compared the American justice system to those of similar countries and found that our incarceration rates were 5 to 11 times higher. Do you think that makes us safer?
No.
It does not. In fact, the evidence shows that incarceration has minimal, if any, effect on reducing crime, and the U.S. consistently ranks high for both violent and nonviolent crimes. What if being tough on crime actually requires a more humane approach to criminal justice and reentry? Our systems of policing, juvenile justice, pretrial detentions, sentencing, and parole all contribute to an excessively punitive system that diverts resources away from prevention and rehabilitation and clearly does nothing to discourage or prevent crime. And in fact, our punitive approach to justice involved individuals trying to reintegrate into society, increases recidivism rates, and makes us all less safe. The Vera Institute of Justice tells us that in reality, when we provide opportunities for people to meet their basic needs and to work toward their fullest potentials, they're far more likely to live successful lives, which lead to safer communities. Do we have a panel, or are we gonna, okay, panelists? I have notes here somewhere about today that seem to have disappeared, so I'm just gonna invite the panelists to the table. Thank you. Okay, here we go. I had two different scripts. So before we get started with the speakers, colleagues, would any of you like to add anything on Second Chance Month? All right. Now it's my pleasure to welcome Linda Hastings and Ashley Valeris with Southeast Works and Shannon Olive with Women First to provide some comments on Second Chance Month. Welcome.
Thank you, and good afternoon, Madam President and City Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to be here this afternoon to support the City of Portland April Second Chance Proclamation. My name is Linda Hastings, and I am the Justice Coordinator at Southeast Works. I have worked in the justice field for 15 years, specifically at Southeast Works for the past 8 years, delivering and coordinating programs for justice-involved individuals. Since 1997, Southeast Works has been a leader in employment and training programs for both youth and adults involved in the justice system. Throughout the years, we have worked with the City of Portland, Prosper Portland, Multnomah County Department of Community Justice, Multnomah County Sheriff's Office, Oregon Department of Corrections, Washington County Community Corrections, Oregon Department of Human Services, Oregon Department of Education, Oregon Employment Department, Work Systems, and the Department of Labor to develop on-site targeted programs and wraparound services to assist those who are experiencing barriers to employment due to their involvement in the legal system. We offer over 100 employment-related workshops monthly through our WorkSource Center. Several are tailored to our justice-involved audience so that they can tailor resumes and targeted job search. Our city-funded reentry program includes Prisoner Reentry Employment Program funded by the City of Portland. In addition, we also run New Start Reentry Resource Center, Reentry Enhancement Coordination, Justice Reinvestment, Youth Career Connections, the Second Chance Project, Connect to Jobs, and the Pre-Release Exit Program in the Washington County Jail. These 8 programs alone serve 1,100 individuals each year. In addition, our WorkSource Center Southeast served 8,666 individuals last year, with 24,631 sign-in for services. Of this number, 1,542 self-attested to a prior justice involvement. We know that this is probably higher as it is self-attestation and not required to enroll in the center. With that number, we are serving over 2,600 justice-involved individuals annually. We are known for our work in the justice-involved community, and many come through a PO, word of mouth, from a family member or friend. We work with our partners to refer for mental health, treatment, housing, and health. In addition to our employment needs, we have co-located services that they will need as they move back to the community and reintegrate. These include DHS on site to take SNAP and TANF applications, vocational rehabilitation for accommodation needs, Job Corps to enroll justice-involved youth and for trades, the DCJ Change Center to refer for COG behavioral workshops, 3 OHP health navigators to assist customers to sign up for OHP, and a veteran representative. This month, we have developed an on-site service with Metropolitan Public Defenders. We have an attorney on site at Southeast Works to assist those who have fines and fees expungement needs. We find this is a huge barrier and stops our customers from finding decent housing, getting a driver's license, and securing a good job. Our work is our passion, and our passion is to ensure each person walking through the doors has an opportunity to redefine themselves and to be judged on their skills and ability and not on their background. Before I close, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the City of Portland for funding our important work. I thank you for the opportunity to speak today, and on behalf of Southeast Works management, staff, former involved justice individuals, and Southeast Works Board of Directors, we enthusiastically support this Second Chance Proclamation.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mayor Wheeler and City Commissioners. My name is Ashley Valeris, B as in boy, A-L-L-A-R-I-S. I was referred to Southeast Works by my DHS family coach through the Southeast Works Second Chance program. Because I was formerly justice involved, I needed to help in finding a job. I enrolled in the Prisoner Reentry Employment Program funded by the City of Portland. Thank you, by the way. I'm nervous. I'll get through it, I promise. My career coach assisted me in developing a career map, and I was encouraged to set goals for me to achieve. I told my career coach about my desire to work for a nonprofit and help in my local community. Not long after I was referred to Southeast Works, an internal position for Southeast for receptionist was posted. My coach thought it would be a good fit for me, and after careful consideration, I submitted my resume for the job of receptionist for New Start Reentry Resource Center. After an initial interview, I was called back for a second interview and secured receptionist position on July 24th, 2018 at the starting wage of $13 per hour. In New Start, I work with former justice-involved individuals releasing from local Inverness jail, state institutions. I assist with intake, scheduling, inventory, customer flow, and in the computer lab. I ensure that the kitchen is stocked with food for customers and order all personal hygiene items for the customers. I ensure that the center is maintained and clean and a neat manner, and that it's a safe space for everyone. My favorite part of my day is my interactions with the customers. I hope that each person that I come in contact with feels validated and accepted. Some days I connect customers to community resources, and other days I'm helping someone navigate new technology and putting together someone's first resume in many years. At the end of the day, I believe everyone just wants to be heard and treated with respect. My coworkers at Southeast Work have been more than welcoming and patient while I adjust and learn the ropes. It's rare you find such genuine support, but I have found it with my coworkers. I have a work family now. I never thought I would have that. We treat each other with respect and love. That's family to me. I know looking to the future, I will continue to grow and advance my career, observing and taking in all the knowledge these wonderful women have to share with me. On August 31st, 2018, I was promoted to program assistant and recently was given a raise, bringing my current wage to $18 an hour with full benefits. Had it not been for the referral to Southeast Works through the Second Chance Jobs program and being accepted into the city-funded prisoner reentry prep program, I wouldn't have found New Start and the great job I have today. They knew I had a record, but I was never judged. They don't treat me like I'm a number at a plant. They treat me like I'm a person with actual life experiences. I've learned from them, but I've never felt judged. It is my sincerest hope that I can have the same kind of positive impact. These kind of services are invaluable for former injustice-involved individuals, and looking to the future, I hope to continue to pursue my passion in making an impact in my community. It is my hope to become a career coach, and within time and right classes and training, Southeast Work has started me on that path already and supports my development. Southeast Work has paid for motivational interviewing, trauma-informed care, training on drug and alcohol, and so that I can be trained to be a career coach for justice-involved individuals in the near future. This program has changed my life by providing me with living wage, opportunities for training and advancement in organization, and a brighter future for my 3 children. The prep program has turned my life around and has set my future in the right direction. Thank you. That's a lot for- Thank you.
Thank you. I know how nerve-wracking it is to sit at that table, and it doesn't really get any less nerve-wracking.
It was a lot.
And
Thank you.
your story is really important for us to hear, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Commissioner Fritz?
Thank you so much for coming back to share, and in particular, thank you for saying thank you. You know, there's a lot of taxpayers' money goes into these programs, and you just told the taxpayers of Portland why it was important to invest in you and in your program, and continue to do that. And we have to connect the dots for people, and you just did that really beautifully, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for given us the opportunity to be here with the Second Chance Proclamation. My name is Shannon Olive, and I am the founder and president for a new women's organization called Women's First Transition and Referral Center. We are a grassroots organization in a nourishing environment where women rebuild their lives and self-worth through peer mentorship, life skills trainings, empowerment groups, and essential community support. We serve justice-involved women, women in recovery, and women seeking a transformation in her life, recovering from traumatic experiences. Our primary focus is African American women because these women face a disproportionate amount of stereotypes and culture prejudice in our society. As a new organization serving for 2 years, one of our goals is to establish and maintain relationships with partner organizations so resources can be offered and referrals will be provided to accomplish our participants' personal and professional goals while meeting the immediate needs. Last year in April, we launched our Reintegration peer mentorship based out of Coffee Creek Correctional Facility. And we serve women 6 months prior to their release. By building relationships, making connections, and developing trust as they're in the prison, and also working with them to help them to create action plans while we then identify what resources, services, and programs are that coincide with their action plans to help them to be able to navigate back into society, to be able to become successful and productive citizens of our community. Since last year, there has been 5 women that's been released. There's 3 women in our work caseload that is really active, and we've had 1 that has been released this year that is active as well. What we've discovered in the last 4 months when women complete transitional housing or treatment, they're coming up against a lot of barriers with housing. As you guys know, if you don't know, transitional housing and treatment is only 3 to 6 months. It's very temporary. And housing is a basic need for all of us. One of the things that we've talked to different agencies and organizations, and also the women that we serve, that they have shared with us, which is they are in fear of. These are the responses that they have shared with us. 1, the cost of fair market price is high. So if you have a job and the fair market price is high, how can I afford to stay in a 1 or 2 bedroom? 33% of our women have children. 2, I do not want to live back with family because they are still subjected to the lifestyle that I just came from. 3, either I have family member that I've burned my bridges because I was in addiction, or I was in and out of prison and now they don't want to have anything to do with me. 4, not having a place to call home can be a trigger for me to go back to doing the things that I used to do because I don't have an establishment coming out of prison or coming out of treatment. And the last thing that is also a challenge is because we are a new organization and we're looking to get funding, is that we have to reach out to other agencies to try to get rent assistance if we've had a woman who's actually found a second chance landlord that's willing to give them a chance. And the problem is moving costs. Security deposits is an issue. So when we go through other agencies, they have criterias and eligibilities that they have to meet in order for them to get the assistance. And we've had 2 clients already that got denied because they didn't meet those criteria or eligibility requirements through those agencies. So Women's First, we are working to meet the need that our women are facing challenges, because we do not want them to have to cross those barriers once they have completed treatment, once they have completed transitional housing, because we do understand what that looks like for them. We are people of lived experience. We are women that are serving the population that has been through the struggle that they have been through. So we are meeting the needs and raising money to purchase a clean and sober long-term continuum home where women can have a place to go to until their names are called on that Section 8 or waiting HUD housing, or until they're able to get into their own apartment. And so we are here just to share the work that we're doing. Our organization is helping women to rebuild their lives so that they can become productive and successful citizens of our community. And we hope that we will be able to get the city's support so that you all can work with us to help these women that are transitioning out of prison, transitioning out of treatment, so that they can also have a second chance to be productive citizens as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for your service and hard work on behalf of our community. And now I have the honor of reading this proclamation on behalf of the mayor. Whereas everyone deserves an opportunity to rebuild their lives, reach their fullest potential, and become productive members of society. And whereas an estimated 70 million Americans have a criminal record and over 600,000 are released from prison every year. And whereas justice-involved individuals often struggle to find housing, secure employment, pursue higher education, regain voting rights, and regain financial freedom. And whereas justice-involved individuals are disproportionately represented in Portland's homeless and unemployed populations. And whereas people of color are disproportionately represented in Oregon's prison system and face even higher barriers once they are released. And whereas we are all safer when justice-involved individuals are given every opportunity to access stable homes, secure employment, and rebuild their lives. Now therefore, I, Chloe Daly, on behalf of Ted Wheeler, Mayor of the City of Portland, Oregon, the City of Roses, do hereby proclaim April 2019 to be Second Chance Month in Portland and encourage all residents to observe this month.
Mayor, I just need to come up.
Yes.
Thank you. You offered earlier, and I wanted to hear the presentations first, and I want to thank each of you for taking the time to come in. I also want to thank the pastors for staying after the previous proclamation to honor this one, and I know that the faith groups do such a lot of work. I'm mindful that Pastor W.G. Hardy has also had been such a leader in providing post-incarceration support services at Highland Christian, and so just wanted to honor his memory and to thank you for the partnership between the nonprofits and the faith community and the city, the taxpayers, all working together to make sure that people have opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, you want to do a photo?
Yeah.
Tell you, beautiful job. Beautiful job. And so you were fine. Very good for us. Good job. Good job. Great job.
Now my hands to you since I forgot to do that yesterday.
Yes, absolutely.
It's prettier than just that.
All right, everyone smile. 1, 2, 3. Oh, let's do it again. Let's do it again. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Wonderful. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for staying. Thanks, everybody. Thank you. Thanks for taking me. That was your first time? Yes. That's yours. Thanks for everything. Maybe next year we'll be here. Thank you. Have a lovely practice.
There you go. Okay, I'll see you later.
Thank you. That is all for today. We are adjourned.
I'm gonna go home with your